analogous inspiration, analogous ideation. But essentially, where we find it most helpful is like when you kind of have some form of an insight, and you're like, hey, this is a problem I think I'm interested in solving. I was thinking about like who else abstractly has a similar problem, right? And then exploring that, how that problem is dealt with in that world, and bringing it back. So it really is, like, to me, I think the big advantage is play and abstraction. So you've got some like concrete insight. Yes, you've got like some concrete insight here, and you have some abstraction, some abstract space, and so this is a solution, and you figure out like what's the solution that somebody else has, and we map it back. So one of the examples that the D School teaches is they worked with a semiconductor company, and they're used to supplying stuff to like Intel and Apple, and they order like tens of thousands of these 87 piece parts. But then they also do like smaller suppliers, like the like example of like a I don't know if I can share it, but so like a smaller but high profile company, but might order like 2,000 of these parts. And one of the things that they found out is like sometimes these parts are a little bit unpredictable. You never know exactly where you're going to get them. I might get like, instead of getting 50,000, I might get 48,000. But like Apple and Intel, they don't care. They're getting a whole bunch. They'll just wait another week. But for this one company that's high profile, they only ordered 2,000, and they only got like half the shipment in there. But it's incredibly critical. They missed like a quarterly estimate. It's like, and so the semiconductor is like, well, like we didn't even there's an insight, like we don't serve smaller organizations that well because they don't order that many parts. But this one's high profile and they can be big, and they're like, what they found out is that company, what they started doing is they'd order from competitors. They'd order from like 5 different companies just on the probability that they'll get something in there. And so they ended up like, oh man, we didn't even realize this is a problem. So they went and did analogous stuff. They went to, one was like a flower store, like a little flower stand.
Yeah,
it's like, how do you know, how do you respond? So the insights, like how do you respond to like a shock in supply?
Fashion is awesome for that.
Yeah. Oh, that would be
fashion
cool.
Fashion is huge. I developed a framework with 2 other colleagues, something called fashion thinking.
Oh, wow.
So thinking like a fashion designer to innovate, because I'm sorry, but fashion has to anticipate needs and has to be uniquely in the present. If it's too far in the past, it's costume is too far in the future. People don't get in, they're scared, and it draws from the street and the elite. And it's a really great sector to learn from.
So what's just really cool is like, how do you then map those back into your business, which is like that becomes like an exercise in of itself. So like,
how do you even get them to think about, let's look at flowers?
So that's a great question. So the way that we've done that is we say like, okay, describe your insight like abstractly. And then we'd say like, where could you go just to learn more about it? Simple about that. Where could you go to learn more about this? Yeah, and then we'll get a group this size. It'll be like a team of 4, and like we'll just get 30 people. Generate as many places you can go to that you can think of that would go to help you explore.
So brainstorm, and then you'll find something.
Yep.
And yeah, we've done that. Like you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, to understand like. The relationship, like if you're going to remodel your bathroom, right. Then like you need a whole bunch of things. So, if you're going to start a business, you need a lot of things. Yeah. But if you go to Home Depot, the experience you have is like, here's sinks. You want tile? That's over there. And then everyone's like, oh, that sucks. That experience sucks. We do that totally. We totally do that. We need to not do that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's almost like analogous, like problem finding, right? So like, who does that well? Well, like I don't know if IKEA does it well, but it's like a different model.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's your
because here's
living
the whole
room
kitchen, and here's all the things you're gonna need. Just pick that up.
Pick the
and
tag.
Go get it.
Yeah. So it'd be cool. Like an abstraction would be like, okay, show them everything put together, and then link offset the cognitive load by like linking to like you will be able to find what you need. Just take this piece of paper. We'll deal with that later. So that would be like a neat principle to take back. And so then it's like, you can move into ideation or prototype. Like, how do we prototype what that looks like in our space?
So could you talk a little bit more about how